Hey everybody, let's look, let's get a quick overview on the time value of money. Uh, Money has a cost, and that cost is interest. And so when we figure the value of money, whether it's an amount now, how much is it worth over time for the future, or a future amount, how much is worth now, we have to look at interest. And when we calculate the interest on these time value of money calculations, we have to look at these elements of it so that we can do the calculation correctly. So if you would, let's take a look. Number one, are we calculating present value or future value? Present value is what the money is worth right now. Future value is what the money is worth in the future with the interest added on. So that's the first thing we have to look at. Do we know what a future value is and wondering how much it's worth right now? We have to strip the interest away and see what the present value is. Or do we know what something's worth right now and we want it to grow to an amount in the future and we don't know what that amount in the future is going to be? We would be doing a calculation for future value. So that's the first question we ask. Are we looking for what the present value is, or are we looking for what the future value is? Then we look at the interest rate, because that's going to, of course, impact the value of the money. Okay, the number of periods and how often it compounds. We'll look at that. The number of payments. Okay, is it a one-time payment or is it multiple payments? Uh, Usually we call one-time payments, lump sum payments, but they're one-time payments. Multiple payments are called annuities. That's the definition. An annuity just means multiple payments. And then we look at when the payments will be made because within the period, because that's going to affect the calculations. Are we going to make the payments at the end of each period or at the beginning of each period? The end of each period are what the tables usually show, and at the end of each period, that's called an ordinary annuity. If the payments are starting at the beginning of each period, uh, that calculation and those tables will be annuity due. That's what you call it when the payments are made at the beginning of the period. All right, let's keep on looking. To do our calculations, we can use charts or tables. Most textbooks have, in accounting and finance, have some kind of charts or tables. If you get into some different calculations, it's a good idea to get you a financial calculator. You can get one for about 30 bucks somewhere, or a spreadsheet. Excel does has some interest calculations when you go in and look at their formulas. So you can look at Excel or a good spreadsheet program and see if they've got any formula calculations. But you've got to know these other components of the problem so you can plug the numbers in correctly. All right. First, let's look, if you don't mind, let's look at future value. Okay, remember what's a future value? How much is the money going to grow to in the future with interest? We know the payment right now or payments, but we don't know what it's going to grow to in the future. So we have a known payments, known whether it's one payment or multiple payments. The payments are known. It's the amount of money in the future that's unknown. So we're going to be calculating the future value. Okay. Next is the present value. We have a known amount in the future, but how much is it worth right now? So the amount in the future is known, but It's unknown now, and that can be one payment or that can be what? Multiple payments. So that would be calculating the present value of the money. It's either the present value of one, or if it's multiple payments, the present value of an annuity. And I just wanted to take just a second and mention about compounding within annual periods, because the periods that we talk about are usually a year or less, because money can compound more often than annually. So let's take a quick example here. Let's say compounding annual periods. Okay, we're going to do 8% for 5 years. So if the money is compounded annually, it's just going to be 8% for 5 periods. And that's what we're going to go look on the table or plug into the calculator. 8% for 5 years. Okay. What about if it compounds semi-annually? Well, on that same 5-year period, we've got to break the periods down into 6 months. So since we've got 2 semi-annual periods in every year, it's going to be what? 2 times 5. We're going to have 10 periods, and that 8% is going to be broken down into the half of those periods. So 8% divided by 2 is 4%. So when we do the calculations on semi-annual periods, we're going to have what? 10 periods at 4% compounding per each one of those 10 periods. How about if we break it down into quarterly periods? Okay, again, we've got 5 years, but each year has got what? 4 quarters. So 4 times 5, we're going to go look at 20 quarters or 20 periods. And that 8% is divided by 4 for the quarterly periods, so that 8% per year divided by 4 quarters per year is what? 2% per quarter. So when we go look at the table or we plug it into the calculator, it's going to be what? 20 periods at 2%. So it's the same amount of time. What's the difference? The compounding on the periods makes the difference. And the more often you compound it, the more of an effect that interest is going to have on the compounding, on the amount of money. So this is just a quick, simple look, but we've got to know about interest rate, periods, ordinary annuity versus annuity due. And we're just going to have to read the problems or analyze the problem in front of us and see what we have to put into the calculator or look at the table and see. But each one of those is going to make a difference. So gang, let's look. If it's been a while since you've had a finance, I hope this helps with an overview on the time value of money. We're going to have some videos where we work some problems, but like I said, I thought we needed an overview first. Take care, and we'll look at those problems shortly.